Learn English through story. The Unforgiven Flame. In the quaint town of Havenbrook, nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, lived a man named Daniel. He was known for his stoic demeanor and fierce loyalty to the community, yet beneath that hardened exterior lay a heart burdened by a haunting past. Years ago, he had made a decision that would forever alter the course of his life via a decision that ignited an unforgiven flame in his soul. Daniel was a promising young architect, passionate about creating spaces that inspired and uplifted. He had a dream of designing a community center that would bring people together, a place where families could gather, and friendships could flourish. But dreams often come with a price, and Daniel's ambition led him to make a fateful choice. During his early career, he found himself working with a renowned developer, Marcus, who promised him the opportunity of a lifetime. Marcus was charismatic and persuasive, painting grand visions of the future that dazzled Daniel's imagination. Eager to prove himself, Daniel ignored the whispers of caution from his friends and family, choosing instead to align himself with Marcus's ambitions. As they began the project, Daniel quickly realized that Marcus's vision came at a significant cost, one that involved cutting corners, disregarding safety regulations, and prioritizing profit over the community's well-being. The warning signs were evident, but Daniel, blinded by ambition and the allure of success, chose to turn a blind eye. The community center was completed, and its grand opening was a resounding success. Families flocked to the vibrant new building, and Daniel's name was heralded as that of a rising star. Yet, amidst the celebration, a nagging unease settled in his heart. Deep down, he knew he had compromised his values, sacrificing integrity for the sake of recognition. Months later, that nagging feeling transformed into horror when a tragic accident struck. A structural failure, stemming from the very corners Daniel had cut, resulted in a catastrophic collapse during a community event. People were injured, lives were forever altered, and amidst the chaos, Daniel's world crumbled. Guilt weighed heavily upon him. He was unable to escape the consequences of his decisions. In the aftermath of the disaster, Daniel became a pariah in Havenbrook. The community, once supportive and proud of his achievements, turned against him. Whispers followed him wherever he went, taunting him with the lives he had inadvertently harmed. The unforgiven flame of guilt burned fiercely within him, a constant reminder of his betrayal not only to the community but to his own values. With a shattered reputation, Daniel withdrew from the world, isolating himself in his small home at the edge of town. He avoided contact with friends and family, too ashamed to face the consequences of his actions. Each day was a battle against the haunting memories, and every night he was consumed by regret. Years passed, and the town slowly began to heal, though the scars of that fateful day remained. Daniel remained a ghost, lingering on the fringes of life, witnessing the community he once loved from a distance. He became a recluse, spending his days sketching designs for buildings that would never be built, the creative fire within him extinguished by guilt and despair. One autumn afternoon, as the leaves turned gold and crimson, Daniel decided to take a walk to clear his mind. He wandered through the woods surrounding Havenbrook, allowing the peaceful solitude to wash over him. But as he strolled, he stumbled upon a small clearing where children were playing, their laughter echoing through the trees. For a moment, he was transported back to happier times, memories of his own childhood flooding back. But then, his gaze fell upon a small group of teenagers gathered around a makeshift bonfire. He recognized them as the younger siblings of the victims from that tragic day. They were sharing stories, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Intrigued yet apprehensive, Daniel stood hidden among the trees, listening to their conversation. They spoke of dreams, ambitions, and the future. He heard one girl, Lily, passionately talk about wanting to be an architect, inspired by the very building he had designed. "We have to make it better than he did," she said, referring to Daniel without knowing he was listening. "We need to learn from the mistakes of the past and create something that truly serves our community." Her words struck a chord within him, stirring emotions he had long buried. He was overwhelmed by a wave of shame but also a flicker of hope. Perhaps there was a way to atone for his past, to turn the unforgiven flame of guilt into something transformative. That night, Daniel lay awake, contemplating his life and the potential for redemption. He remembered the passion he had once felt for architecture and the dreams he had woven into every design. He realized that he could no longer hide from his past. He needed to confront it head on. The following morning, Daniel took a leap of faith. He reached out to the community leaders, offering to help design a new community center, one that would be built with integrity and transparency. His proposal was met with skepticism, but he persisted, explaining his desire to create a safe space for the community, one that honored the memories of those affected by the tragedy. Slowly, the walls began to crumble. The leaders agreed to meet with him, and he presented his vision, pouring his heart into the plans. He emphasized the importance of community input, the need for collaboration, and his commitment to prioritize safety above all else. As he spoke, he saw glimmers of hope in their eyes. The town had been scarred, but perhaps they were willing to heal together. Encouraged by their response, Daniel began to organize community meetings, inviting residents to share their ideas and concerns. To his surprise, the community slowly began to engage, sharing their stories and dreams for the new center. Daniel listened intently, realizing that this project was no longer just about redemption for himself. It was about honoring those who had been affected by his past mistakes. As the weeks turned into months, Daniel found himself immersed in the project, rekindling his passion for architecture. The unforgiven flame that had once burned with guilt transformed into a fire of purpose and determination. He dedicated himself to ensuring that every aspect of the design was rooted in safety, functionality, and community spirit. Throughout this process, Daniel faced challenges and resistance. Some members of the community were still unwilling to forgive, unwilling to forget the pain he had caused. But as he continued to show up, to listen, and to adapt the design based on their input, a shift began to occur. One evening, during a community meeting, a woman named Claire stood up, her voice trembling. She was a mother who had lost her child in the collapse. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Daniel," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "But I see that you're trying. You're trying to make this right, and I appreciate that." Daniel felt a surge of emotion as he met her gaze. "I understand your pain, Clara. I can't take away what happened, but I promise to do everything in my power to honor your child's memory through this new center. I want it to be a place of healing, of hope." Clara nodded, and for the first time, Daniel felt a glimmer of understanding in her eyes. The road to forgiveness was long and arduous, but they were taking steps together. As the community center project progressed, Daniel's dedication began to foster trust and healing within the community. People started to view him not as a pariah but as a man striving for redemption. He found himself surrounded by young architects, including Lily, who shared his vision and passion for creating a space that reflected the town's spirit. As the grand opening approached, excitement filled the air. The community came together, each person contributing in their way, painting murals, planting gardens, and crafting the final touches. Daniel worked side by side with them, his heart swelling with gratitude and hope. On the day of the opening, the sun shone brightly as families gathered at the new community center. Daniel stood at the entrance, feeling a mix of pride and anxiety. He was acutely aware of the journey that had brought them all to this moment. As he delivered a heartfelt speech, he spoke not only of the center but of the lessons learned through pain and growth. This building represents more than bricks and mortar. It represents resilience, community, and the capacity for forgiveness, he said, his voice strong yet filled with emotion. I stand before you, not as the man I once was, but as someone striving to be better, to do better. Together, we can create a future that honors our past. The applause that followed was thunderous, but more than that, it was a sound of healing. The community, once divided by tragedy, now stood united in their shared purpose. Daniel felt the unforgiven flame within him shift once more. It was no longer a source of shame but a beacon of hope. As the day turned to dusk, families filled the new center, laughter echoing through the halls. Daniel moved among the crowd, witnessing the joy he had long thought lost. He spotted Clara and Lily chatting, a bond forged through shared experiences and healing. In that moment, he realized that forgiveness wasn't a destination but a journey, a one that required patience, understanding, and a willingness to confront the past. In the years that followed, the community center flourished, becoming a hub of creativity and connection. Daniel continued to work closely with the community, ensuring that their voices remained heard in every project. He had transformed his unforgiven flame into a fire of purpose, guiding others toward healing and growth. Havenbrook had healed, not just from the tragedy but from the wounds of misunderstanding and distrust. Daniel learned that the path to redemption was paved with humility and accountability, that facing the past head-on was the only way to truly honor it. And so, as he stood in the center of the bustling community he had once failed, he whispered a silent promise to himself, a promise to keep the fire of purpose alive, to nurture it, and to ensure that he would never again allow ambition to blind him to the values that truly mattered. The unforgiven flame had become a guiding light, illuminating the path toward a future filled with hope, connection, and love. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.